Y'all really showed up out of the woodwork. I don't want to be on here for that long. I just saw this video and now I need to talk about it. I guess news travels fast amongst a quarantine, doesn't it? I'm disturbed by this Ezra Miller choking a fan thing. I'm very disturbed by it. I just watched the video, what video is available on YouTube, and it's pretty apparent that he very well may have been joking around, but you don't joke around in that way. Even if he was completely, totally fucking kidding, you don't behave that way. I'm like really, really disturbed by this. He and I actually have similar names, okay? Ezra is a biblical name, and my name is a biblical name, and his last name is similar to my last name, my real one. People have actually said he and I look alike, which I kind of get, because we kind of do. I think we have similar ancestry, but I'm really disturbed by this. Like, really, I am. I called this live stream The Line because there's this line that people aren't aware of, that people aren't mindful of, and a lot of people in the fucking comments were like, oh, lol, we need to talk about Kevin, and I am even more disturbed by those types of comments, in addition to the subject matter of the fucking video to begin with. And like what people aren't realizing here is like the line between reality and fiction, the line between me and you right now, the lines there, and I'm not just talking about distance, I'm talking about being in front of a camera, okay? Cameras are simultaneously sacred and holy and blasphemous and evil, okay? I just watched this really disturbing documentary earlier today called Three Identical Strangers, and we're not even going to get into that, but cameras were used in a very evil way in that scenario. What I want people to think about, and I wish people would think about this, but they're too stupid. I'm slowly but surely coming to terms with the fact that I'm one of the only intelligent people living, is that when someone plays a part very well, there's a reason for that. When someone does a thing very well on camera, even if they're acting, there's a reason for that. And in addition to that, the ways we depict ourselves on camera, if you're someone who is on camera, are significant and relate to real life, your waking life when you are off camera. I guess I can give two examples. One being that Tupac dies in most of his movies that he's in. He was consciously depicting himself as dying, and I actually know a woman who used to be his groupie, and he straight up told her, he was like, look, I'm going to die before I'm 25, so I'm trying to have a good time until then. When you believe something, you can make it reality, whether it's good or bad. The other example, so I'm saying, like, if he hadn't depicted himself as dying so many times, then he wouldn't have died. But the other example I'm going to give is Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee should not have been at work when he died. He should not have been doing physical activity at that point. His brain had been swelling before he died. And he had been in the hospital like a few days before. And they were like, bro, you have brain swelling. Like, take it easy. But he's like, I'm Bruce Lee. Let's go. How'd that work out for him? I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm just saying, like, when we are being depicted and believed in certain manners, like, it affects you psychologically. Do you understand me? There's this movie called Lost Highway. It's a David Lynch movie. And in it, there is this scene where, and it takes place in, you know, the 80s, 90s, whenever it was fucking made. It wasn't really released on a massive scale, and the productions of it were very limited. So you either have to buy it online, or it's generally hard to come across. Anyway, this was before cell phones, okay? So this movie is very creepy, and in the movie there's this scene. It's about this couple who they're not doing so hot. You can tell that from the beginning of the movie. And the husband goes to this party. Okay, so what happens is they get an envelope on their doorstep that contains a videotape, and they play the videotape, and it's a videotape of them sleeping in their own house. And then they're like, what the fuck? And they call the police, and there's not really much that can be done. But then Bill Pullman is at this, no, that's not what I'm talking about in HQ. Bill Pullman is at this party, and he's just hanging out, and this really fucking terrifying guy comes up to him, and he's holding a phone, like a cordless, actually it might be a cell phone, it might be an old ass, you know, like humongous cell phone. I don't remember, but he's holding a phone when cell phones were not really a thing. Even the humongous ones were rare. And he's like, it's for you. And this is the scariest scene I've ever seen in my life. I've ever seen anyone do in my entire life. And which isn't surprising literally at all, because that guy was actually charged for murdering his wife. He either murdered his wife during the production of that movie, this scary ass guy who's like, the phone is for you. He either murdered his wife during the production of that movie or shortly after his time on that movie, and he actually murdered his wife for real. So he was fucking scary for a reason. Do you understand me? I fucking saw this movie with Ezra Miller in it, and I want to say 2004, no, 2005, 2006, around there. He's in this movie called After School, and it's a really disturbing movie. It's about this little boy who is addicted to rape tapes, pornography, and these identical twin girls. He's going to a boarding school, and these identical twin girls get a real fucking bad batch of cocaine, and I'm just not even gonna say anymore, okay? But they show him imitating the rape tapes that he's watched. Okay, I don't recommend watching this movie if you're someone who doesn't like rape tapes, or if you're someone who doesn't want to watch dramatized rape tapes. And that's another thing that people use cameras for in an evil way, is making rape tapes. Anyway, going back to Ezra Miller, I just want people to fucking be aware that there's a line here. There's a real fucking line. Do you understand me? And we need to respect the line, and people need to be aware that there is a line, and people need to stop thinking that any bullshit they see on fucking YouTube is like, oh, haha, it's so funny, lol, we need to talk about Kevin. That's another fucking scary movie that he's in. About this kid who, um, murders kids in his school because he locks them in the fucking gym and kills them with a crossbow. Okay? It's a scary ass movie. It's a weird ass movie. It's a creepy ass movie because Ezra Miller is a creepy ass guy. And I don't care if he was joking around with this fan by being like, "Do you want to fight, lol?" I don't care. It doesn't matter to me because you should know not to behave that way. But when the line is not clear, how are you going to know? How are you going to know? There's this other scene in this movie called Zero Dark 30 where they're depicting torture scenes that happened in Afghanistan or Iraq. My memory blends those two together. But it's a depiction, okay? It's a dramatization of a torture scene. And the guy who does it in the movie is so good at it. If I ever see this guy in real life, I'm gonna fucking run from him. I didn't study acting in film school. Thank God. I studied screenwriting. But my roommates studied acting. And they told me that when you're acting in a scene, when you're portraying feelings, right? Whether or not it's real, if you're telling yourself that that happened to you, your brain and your body processes it as if it's happening to you. Do you understand me? I loved the Hunger Games, okay? And I watched some interviews with what's his name? Josh Hutcherson and Jennifer Lawrence, and they were saying, like, one time they were talking about how hard they partied in Berlin or some shit. I don't know, wherever the fuck they were shooting. They were like, oh yeah, we partied like so hard. And these people like have to party so hard because they're depicting these fucked up scenarios with their bodies. And their brains are actually processing them as if they happened. I will also bring up Heath Ledger. I think it's his birthday today. If not, it was recently. I feel like he was just trying to play the part. When he, died playing a part, people talk shit about they're like, oh, well, it's so sketch that they didn't call the police when he died. Like, oh, it's so, like, was he getting drugs illegally? Moron, do you think if the Joker were a real guy, would he obtain drugs legally for recreational use? No. No. The answer is no. He was clearly just trying to play the part, and it killed him. Okay, this shit is serious, and I'm making this video because I want people to remember that this sort of thing is serious, and it's not to fucking be taken lightly, and remember that your cameras are simultaneously sacred and evil. Sacred and evil. Okay, I didn't mean to do that. Your cameras are sacred and evil. Okay, are y'all saying anything else? People are still respecting Ezra's made-up gender identity even after displaying typical male violence. Yeah, Isabel, that's why I said I'm slowly but surely coming to terms with the fact that I'm one of the only intelligent people living on this planet, and so are you. I'm just saying that, like, the ways in which you depict yourself will affect you in real life. IRL. Okay? Okay, I think that's about all I have to say, unless y'all want to say anything else. People are still respecting Jessica Yaniv's gender identity too, because they're morons. You're right, all acting is method acting. Hi, Kay Wendrix. Do you think that perhaps his gender identity influenced him to think it was okay to attack a woman? Maybe. I mean, this bullshit is the bullshit gender identity crap is saying, like, I'm not really what I am. I'm not really what I am. I am what I am in my imagination. And I have to tell you what I am in my imagination so that you know, because it's made up. Yeah, maybe it would. Maybe it did. I'm amazed at even in the midst of coronavirus, there are so many ridiculous trans activists obsessing about something so irrelevant. We still have way too much luxury. I guess, absolutely. That's what I've fucking been thinking about a lot this time now with this quarantine that we've been on. We have too much. We have too much. We have too much. Okay, there's too much going on. We are saturated in this fucking world of shopping and entertainment and all of this bullshit. We are fully saturated 100% of the time. One time I was just walking around in public and I was walking by this woman with pushing a young baby in a stroller, and she was talking to her friend, and I heard her say, like, well, when I was pregnant I wanted kombucha but I couldn't have any because da da da, and that was all I heard. Okay, but the way that women talk about, like, when they were pregnant, is that I've noticed is that it's very, like, wistful. They talk about it like longingly, like they still wish they were pregnant. And the reason they still wish they were pregnant was that while they were pregnant, they had limitations on what they could and could not do. And it was refreshing to them. It's like, why don't we fucking put limitations on ourselves? You don't have to fucking be pregnant to do that. Jesus Christ. What did whoever say? I wasn't looking. I don't care. Honestly, I don't care. I can't handle this anymore. Okay, thanks everyone for showing up. Good to talk. Hope you got something out of this. Bye.